Hi, good morning. I'm Taylor Haas here with Chris Bradford at PPG Paints Arena, where the Penguins just defeated the Wild. We are brought to you, as always, by Get Go Cafe and Market. And what are they doing right now, Chris?
It's the 24 mobile days of offers where you can order stuff online, get it in advance. I think that's what I'm going to do tonight.
Yeah, you just skip to the front of the line. You look like you're someone special.
VIP treatment.
Exactly.
So we're going to talk a little bit about the Penguins. You know, for a while this season, I think they were playing a little bit of whack-a-mole. You know, there was always one problem coming up. And one of the consistent ones was the goaltending. Well, now goaltending is really not a problem. You know, secondary scoring was one of those other problems. Not a problem now. Evgeny Malkin's more of a problem now than goaltending. I mean, Casey DeSmith, again, another good performance. Look at the shots up there. We got 41 shots for the Minnesota Wild. Not many great quality chances. I think Bruce Boudreau was complaining about two empty nets, or open nets, I should say, that they couldn't convert. But all in all, Casey DeSmith. How about it?
and a lot of their chances were really spaced out. I mean, they went something like 9.5 minutes in the second period alone without getting a shot on Casey DeSmith, and then they were just bombarding him again and again, and they were huge changes, and he kept them out. So yeah.
And this performance comes on top of the other night against the Washington Capitals, where Matt Murray, in just his second game back, you know, he beat a team that's arguably the best team in the NHL right now. Won 5 in a row, Stanley Cup champions, obviously. A totally different challenge tonight with the Minnesota Wild.
Yeah, they're definitely not the same team. Yeah, in Minnesota, they were throwing a lot of shots on Casey DeSmith, and so many of them didn't even make the net.
But it's fair to say though that the Penguins maybe aren't rolling as you know, they're not like killing teams, but they are winning, and there's something to be said for winning games. And right now they're getting solid goaltending, and they're winning games.
It doesn't have to be pretty.
So, Chris, looking at the Steelers versus the Saints
There's no chance they can win, Dale. There's just no chance they can win.
See, that's where I was going to go. Watching the game on Monday night, the Saints played. They lose. They're already playing without their left tackle, who, by the way, is a Pro Bowl starter. He's very good. He's one of the best tackles in the league. But then they lose center Max Unger.
Yeah, and Unger's been a very consistent guy.
And he also made the Pro Bowl.
Yeah.
They have to start shuffling their offensive line then, and they're putting in guys who, quite frankly, are not very good. To me, this gives the Steelers a much better chance to win this football game.
Yeah.
I'm not saying they're going to win the football game, but they at least gives them a puncher's chance, because now, you still have Drew Brees there, and he's been sacked 15 times this year. He's very good at getting rid of the football. But the thing that the Saints want to do is run the football. This is what their offense is built around.
And when I looked at the Saints' offense throughout the year, I've looked and I've said, man, if there was an offensive line to compare to the Steelers, it was theirs, because they were so consistent, they communicated well, and part of that is Breeze, because he knows how to help them get.
But Unger's the communication center.
Exactly, and now that he's out, now I got some questions. What's really going to be happening there? And can Kamara, can he get the seams to get loose? The Steelers' defensive line, I thought they did a very good job against the Patriots, though the Patriots' offensive line isn't something to boast about. But the fact that they were able to play as well as they did and keep the pass rush lanes contained as well as they did against Brady, I think that's a good sign moving forward. I think it's absolutely right that they have an advantage, but I'd be looking at the other side of the ball, because Davenport and Jordan are two very physical guys up front. So it's going to be really interesting which defensive line can beat the offensive line bad enough in this game.
So, Chris, going into this weekend,
yes,
the Steelers have a half-game lead in the AFC North standings. Of course, they'll know Sunday when they line up to play the Saints what they're going to need to do, because, of course, there's two big games Saturday. Everybody knows about the first game. Everybody knows Ravens and Chargers is a big game. But that early game is a big one too for the Steelers.
Yes, I mean when you look at the playoff hunt, even if the Steelers do lose the division out to the Ravens, they still have a decent shot to make the playoffs over the Colts, the Titans, and the rest of the AFC. But the Titans playing the Giants, that's not as easy as a matchup, because the Giants, they're just so inconsistent. You don't know which team you're going to get.
But
very true.
The Titans' final two games are at home. And so that's why this game this weekend is very big. The Titans can still get to 10 wins.
I would change.
And so, if they happen to win out, and they host the Colts in Week 17, so that's it's going to be an elimination game for one of those two teams.
Right.
But if they both win this weekend and the Steelers lose, then the Steelers need to win the division.
Right.
So that's where this comes into play. To me, I think the Colts, even though they have to go to Tennessee in Week 17, they're playing the better football right now.
Yep.
And I think
Their
they're the better.
defense
I think
is a
they're the
lot
better
better than-
team.
yeah.
I think they have the better shot than the Ravens to make the playoffs. I think Baltimore might lose their last 2 games.
I've been saying this for a while. The way the Browns have been playing, they're pesky. They challenge you different ways. Baker Mayfield's been really solid this year. I look at their defense and they're aggressive. They can play with the Ravens, and I don't see the Ravens being consistent enough. Lamar Jackson has not found his passing groove yet, and I think he's going to need it to beat the Chargers on this.
The other part of that equation is the Browns can still finish ahead of the Ravens.
Yeah, which is pretty
in
wild.
the standings. And if you're the Browns, you want to finish 8-7-1 because that gives you something to build on for next year. And if you're that coaching staff, maybe keeps you your job.
Oh, you turned no wins or into a winning season